At Davos, Menaka Doshi has been catching up with some of the biggest voices. She is in conversation with Ajit Gulabchand right now, so let's listen in.
It's been struggling to get its act together. What and how are you looking at 2016? Will it be a year of improvement?
Well, as far as the world is concerned, yes, there's a lot of volatility.
Yeah.
The oil prices have sunk considerably. You know, it might be good news for some, but it's not necessarily good news for the world economy in general.
Yes.
And there are volatility in China. And there's so many things happening. And there is this ISIS crisis that is going on. So with all these uncertainties, you're going to get a bit of volatility. And therefore creating gloom where the growth will happen. Europe has been a little dull in its growth. But don't forget, even though it has low growth, it's on a very high base. Well, coming back to India, I think that some movement has now begun. Data shows with some clarity that infrastructure projects are coming on stream.
Okay.
Much more this year than they were in the last 2, 3, 4 years.
Mostly in the road sector or across the board?
This is substantially only in the transport sector to begin with. But transport, what I mean is not just roads, but there are some metros that are coming up.
Okay.
Then there are now railways is going to soon open up some packages. Power is still taking off, not yet taken off at all.
Okay.
However, some of the obstacles in power, like the cancellation of coal license, mining licenses, then the other one where distribution companies needed to be saved from their debt. All this has been done. But by the time the whole system gears up to it, and the states take on board that they will have to now subsidize directly from budgetary support and do it, it will be a year before that whole area starts looking.
But is the plan in itself looking good to you?
The plan itself first has solved some problems.
Okay.
So that you can now begin afresh.
Okay.
But to get things going will take a year or year and a half.
It's a time-consuming process.
So some of the old hydro projects that were held up somewhere, some environmental and some other detail, all those projects that were stalled to some extent are now coming on stream. So, so I think we will get a improved infrastructure spend during the current year.
Okay.
But the bigger problem is of debt, which needs to be resolved. Some steps have been taken, like the new Arbitration Act amendment. That will help to reduce the challenges that are possible and reduce the time in which disputes, or as a court disputes, most of them are not disputes. They are referred to a dispute resolution mechanism to get out of the decision making.
Okay.
So, but at least that will help to reduce that time. So some generic steps have been taken that will help. But resolving the debt has not yet been, because if the government can pay up its infrastructure players and the banks can find a different way. And again, I come to my favorite subject of cutting down interest rates, cutting them down sharply if the economy is to pick up.
Okay. All right, that was Ajit Gulabchand. Markets